Mercury is Mercury right now.
Oh, I
We've got
know.
we've got some serious business with this retrograde.
Yeah.
Technology is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. There we go. I think I'm good now.
Okay.
Really good to see you, by the way.
It's really good to see you always.
It's been a wild ride lately.
Oh, it's been crazy. Crazy, crazy life lately. Life
Yeah,
doesn't feel real.
very true. Hi, Sarah. Nice to see you. Good morning. I'm still kind of discombobulated. I didn't sleep well last night because the energies were just something else.
Yeah.
Lying down, and those spirals were getting me all riled up. Do
So, what do you
you
think
want
the
to see
spiral?
it? I want to show you the picture since Tami didn't see it last night. I just want to show you. This is some
What do
crazy
you
stuff.
think they are? Like, what is your guess about it?
30. You know what's funny is my intuition is fucking bang on. It
Yeah.
always is. I'm so proud of my own intuition sometimes because I knew that wasn't what they. Everybody tries to say it's SpaceX, but I knew instantly seeing it that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Um, some of the photos are really impressive, though. Come on, like, see, look,
Oh my goodness.
I
That's
know
that's
they were
very
seen
big.
everywhere. They were
Wow.
seen everywhere.
Wow. That's wow.
Yep, and I mean, yeah, and they
Yeah.
were in. People could see them in Denmark, Sweden,
Wow.
Scotland, France, Italy. Even then, I was like, well, I guess it's over Europe. And then somebody tagged a post over in New Zealand, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's not over
Wow.
Europe. Not just.
Yeah.
So I asked my guides about it. Well, I shouldn't say my guides. I asked Adriana's guide, Zach, who is one of those
Yeah.
Solution Pleiadians. And Zach was like, I knew you were going to ask. So I already went and did some digging for you. And he goes,
Yeah.
yeah, the cabal is trying to open portals. He said it was it's one of those letter agencies that are out there, and the ones that we don't know about,
They do
and
look like they can do portals.
exactly, they do a lot of experimentation, and they're very prepared. Like they have a statement ready to go as soon as people start seeing things that they can't cover up. The
Yeah.
gaslighting begins. At least they're not trying to say it's swamp gas and weather balloons anymore, but
Yeah.
it's Project Bluebeam. I already asked if that was the case, and they're like, yep, they're trying to open portals and they're trying to freak people out, and they're
Wow.
it's just what they do. They're always experimenting with something.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But
Hi,
the
everybody. I see lots of people I know. Hi, all of you. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Ariel. Hi, everyone. Hi,
I'm
everyone I
just
don't know, too. I'm glad that you guys are all here.
I'm just checking to see if there's any solar flares or anything else interesting. There's a geomag is acting up a little bit today, but nothing too crazy. So hopefully things will settle down now a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you know what I found really crazy this week is like I went to Pennsylvania and I was around all my family, and my family is not usually very accepting of the work that I do. Like not all of them, but a lot of them. I was so surprised because almost all of them really wanted to talk to me. Like they really wanted to ask me questions and they were really interested in things. And I told my cousin about like a mediumship reading I had where my grandfather came through, well, and my grandmother. And he goes, "Hey, tell my mom about this when she came over." And I said, "Oh no, she doesn't believe in this stuff." And she goes, "Yes, I do." And I was like, "What?" Like, but like they all of them are starting to wake up and understand things and believe in it all. And I was so shocked. If this was like a year ago, they would be like ignoring me and like looking at me with the evil eye, but they were all like interested in everything. It was crazy. So the world is
Can't
waking
deny
up,
it. I
you
mean,
know.
things are getting so weird and in your face, you can't deny it. And
I know.
intuition, I think, is also becoming much more pronounced for people. Like people are sensing things.
Yeah. Well, I found out that one of my aunts went to a psychic, and I'm like, what? Like, I mean, these people are like all religious. They don't do things like that. I'm like, wow, this is so cool, So,
I
but
love
yeah,
that.
I
Times
like
are
that.
changing.
That was good.
You know, and there's even people that we never thought would wake up, and they're starting to wake up, and we're like, wow, maybe the world is shifting.
Well, I told my daughter, like yesterday we were flying all day, and I told her, I was like, you know what? I don't feel like so worried about them anymore. You know, like I don't know why, but I always thought like, I don't know if we're like moving into different places or something, you know, like I don't know what we're doing, but like we definitely have a different consciousness and it worries me, you know, but everyone is starting to hear it and know it, and I think that's good.
I was more worried 10 years ago when everybody felt like they had their blinders on and everybody's walking around blind. That's when I was concerned. Because I was like, how the hell are we going to fix anything if everybody's just kind of walking around like nobody's home, you know? But now,
they pretend that you're not talking, you know, like when you say things, and it's so weird, but you know, it's changing. It's good. It's so good. So have you noticed a lot of that around you? That people are like waking up? Yeah. That's good.
Well, I'm more open about what I do now, where people like I had a guy that came to fix my washer not too long ago, and he's like, what do you do? And I was like, I'm a podcast host and, you know, medium. And he's like, a medium? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh. He started asking me what I talk about on the podcast, and he's like, I'm really into all that stuff. And I'm like, well, I can see why you were the one that turned up today, because obviously we were meant to have this conversation. And he just lit up. Like you could tell that he was so excited about what I was talking about, because much of what people are into spiritually, they don't really have a lot of people to talk to about it. So when they find somebody that's kind of on the same wavelength, they're like, my peoples, yes. Like they're so happy to bump into other awakened people. And that is why, like, you just got to be yourself, be your authentic self. You never know who is really going to be into it until you just let it out there.
Yeah. I have every service person that comes to my house, I do their numbers and I give them crystals.
At least some crystals on for a reason. My purse is full of crystals that I give to people just randomly. I love giving crystals.
I always give them what I think that they need, because you can feel what they need, you know. And I just have I have a crystal business, so I have a lot of crystals.
I gave this guy at Popeyes an obsidian the other day. We were in the checkout and he seemed a bit stressed. So I was like, can I have a present for you? And I just handed him an obsidian. He's like, that totally made his day. I could tell.
That's cool. When I was the Lyft and Uber driver, I used to have my whole little, whatever it is, the catch-all thing was filled with crystals. And I would always have people pick which one they liked, you know. And then I would tell them what it meant and everything. So I
love going to crystal shows and just picking out all the little tumblestones and ones that you resonate with, and it's just really nice to give those to people. People love it.
Yeah.
The crystal giving.
Hi, Karen. Hi, everybody.
So we're going to do some fun numerology stuff today, but I wanted to also discuss, because today is 3/25/25. What does that mean?
Yeah. So when it's a date, I make stories out of it instead of putting it in a chart and breaking it all down. I'll make a story. So, well, let me write it so I can actually look at it. I can look at it in my head, but sometimes I have to go back. So, okay. So a 3 is all about balance and certainty and kind of looking at things with weighing things, you know, to decide what's right. That would be a 3. And then the 2 is always your heart, your emotions, or your relationships. 5 is always family. So a day like today, if I were to make a story out of it, I would say it feels like a day of searching, you know, searching for certainty. And maybe finding it with your relationships and your family. Maybe it's a family day. It's a day of I'm looking to my family and my love and my relationships for what I need. You know, that's what I would say it's about. This whole year is really about that kind of thing. You know, like it's really about getting your relationships and your family right. And it's about making a solid ground for where you're going next, because the next few years we're going to be heading into like more creative years and more focused years, where we're taking a lot of the stability from the last couple of years that we've tried to get so much back. You know, we're taking that and we're making a ground out of it right now to go forward, you know. So I would say today, I would say this whole month is about balance. It's about certainty and feeling balanced, you know.
Well, we do
And
have Venus and Mercury retrograde, which rule communication and relationships, not just romantic relationships, but familial and friendships. And there's a lot of people where, you know, miscommunication has led to a lot of issues too. So sometimes you have an opportunity will present itself, especially during Mercury retrograde, to bring all that back up to the surface so you can deal with it and then transmute it and heal it.
And that's kind of what it's talking about with those twos. Like a lot of times a two is miscommunication rather than communication. You know, it's like learning how to communicate without being able to, you know, and then it's saying, you know, I'm trying to do that because I'm trying with the focus of balance and certainty. So I'm trying to get things right. You know, I'm not trying to continue the miscommunication. That is what it would be saying. So
I'm cracking up because I just had a song pop in my head and I haven't heard this song in forever. It's one is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number. Oh, it's so funny.
I got a lot of songs playing in my head. Oh my goodness. So people send me songs, like people on the other side, and we just had a recent really tragic death, and he's been sending us each songs. And what's really funny about the songs that he's been sending is that each one of them has had the same like lines in them, you know, so that we know it's really actually from him, you know. Like each one of them say you have a beautiful face, or you have the most beautiful face, or something like that. Each song has. So songs just keep randomly popping in my head, which is really cool, you know.
I don't believe in random and coincidence anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what happened yesterday? I want to write about this. I cannot forget about this. So like yesterday we got to the Philly airport. I don't know what is wrong with my brain right now, but it's not thinking right. I was looking at our connecting flight instead of our first flight, and I got the time wrong. It was like 7:30 p.m. We were supposed to board the second flight, and I kept looking at it as 7:30 a.m. for the first flight. And
I've done that before. Oh no.
I was so upset. And so we missed our flight and we had to rebook, and it turned into a whole crazy day. But whatever. Anyway, we're waiting there for hours to check in our bags, and there's this pigeon like right above our heads, you know, in the airport, and he's just like standing there, and then he's walking in front of us, and we're just like, we just liked it, you know, like it was really cool because he was pretty and whatever. And then we go upstairs, we check in for our flight, we're about to board, and we're just like waiting, and another pigeon was like right there. No other pigeons in the whole airport, you know, but they're like right there with us. And the second one like flew down to us and was just walking by our feet and then circling our chair like over and over. And I was like, is this trying to tell us something? Like
what like if you're missing the message, we'll come back again and give it to you.
Yes. What do pigeons mean? Do you know?
So, you know, I was literally just thinking the message of pigeons. Pigeon spirit animal.
So the only thing I know about pigeons is that they carry messages, but I don't know, like, are they good messages? I hope.
Of course they are. Well, pigeons are actually one of the most like they were actually changed by humans. They are very special in regards. Pigeons, especially doves, are widely recognized as symbols of peace and love. The pigeon's homing instinct, so it represents home and family because it connects to the themes of family, home, and returning to one's roots.
Well, that's nice. We were trying to get home.
Their ability to find their way, symbolizing the journey to find one's place in the world or a return to one's own values. And they also say resilience and adaptability, because pigeons thrive in various environments, from bustling cities to serene countrysides, embodying resilience and adaptability.
Okay. I'll take all that. That sounds good.
That's a really nice message to get.
They were really beautiful too. Like, I don't think people realize how beautiful all the birds are. You know, like everyone gets so annoyed by them. I think they're so beautiful, you know.
One of my favorite stories is about how Nikola Tesla basically like fell in love with a pigeon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a long story, but he basically had a very spiritual, deep connection with this one pigeon, and he would come back every single day and spend time with her. And when you communicate on such a high degree, especially telepathically, there's all kinds of beings that can communicate through animals as well. And so I feel like there's a deeper meaning even still. So I would meditate on that and just see what your specific meaning is for you.
Yeah. Michelle said doves come to her yard. That's what I told my daughter yesterday. I said, pigeons remind me of doves, you know, and I was like, and I just equate that to love. So I don't know, you know, but yeah.
Pigeons are basically like domesticated doves in a way. We changed pigeons though. Like pigeons, they can't even make nests anymore thanks to humans. Like we totally changed their entire persona in a way.
Yeah, it's a shame. They're so
beautiful. But they're wonderful birds.
Yeah. Well, and they were so sweet. Like they really were so sweet. Like nobody was scared of them. They were just very sweet, you know. But yeah, I just thought it was
an animal repeatedly. A lot of times there is a message in it for you. Like you're trying to figure somebody's trying to get your attention.
I'm gonna ask my guides. I've had a bunch of people coming to me lately, so I don't know what to do with all the communication sometimes. Sometimes there's a lot. So lately I swear whenever you go through new levels of grief and things like that, I think that your abilities actually level up. I was telling my daughter that because she's had very clear messages lately. She does automatic writing, and she said, Mom, it's been different than before. Like it feels like they're sitting right with me, like I'm right there with them. And I said, well, they are, you know. So
there was a client not too long ago that was dealing with a broken heart, and she asked in her questions, why did this happen to me? And they said, sometimes your heart has to break in order for it to open.
Yeah.
That's what her guide said. This was an opportunity for her heart to expand, and sometimes it has to be broken and put back together in a new way to be able to expand bigger and bigger and bigger, so to speak.
My question is always, when I'm going through the worst of times, my question is always, how is this good? How is this good? I just walk around looking for all the reasons that this is for my good. And sometimes that's really hard, but like I have found so many beautiful things in all the hardest things because of that, because I just will not let it be the worst thing ever. I'm always like, this has to be good. It must be good. And then it is good, you know, and you find all the good in it, you know.
Everything happens for a reason, as they say. That's whenever anything goes to shit, I'm like, okay, where's the reason? It's got to be here somewhere.
You know? But yeah. Anyway.
Well, you know, I love numbers because a lot of times numbers are the ones pointing out the reasons to things. When there's something goes down, I look at my clock and I'm like, oh, I see 333, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So when you see these numbers, do you know what they mean, or do you just take them as reassurance? Like, what do you do with them when you see them?
I do tend to generalize. I'm not going to lie. I see fives and I'm like, oh, change is coming.
Yeah.
I see 11, I'm like, all right, on the path. Nice one. You know?
Yeah. I'm writing a book about repeating numbers because I want when people see them to go, oh, this is a message. And I want them to understand that message and receive that message. And then I want their guides to then be able to move on to the next message. You know, like when you see 555, your guides are telling you something about your family usually. And so I want you to see that. And then I want you to say, oh, my family. And then your guides will show you like a 7, and then you'll go, oh, there's some decision to make about my family, or there's some guidance I need about my family. And then the next message, because they're actually trying to communicate with you. And if you start to learn their language, then you will actually receive those messages. You won't have to just guess or generalize. Like yes, it's a great thing to say, oh, they're with me, I'm reassured. That's always good, but it's way better to go, I'm being guided in this way. This is my instructions, like they're guiding me towards something, and they're helping me with my things. Because, it could come down to just making a decision about which way to turn, and like one way there's, numbers this way, one way there's numbers that way. And you're like, oh, that one's better, but they do that, I just like, I just love the idea of teaching that language, and having people understand it right when they see it instead of having to like wonder about it, or to generalize it, because it'll just help you more,
Yeah.
Like,
Yesterday I kept seeing 66 everywhere, or even 666, and Aiden said something. That's supposed to be a bad number, and I was like, no numbers are bad. No numbers are ever bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you think about it, I said, don't they look like pregnant ladies? They got big bellies. Think about it. And so I kept seeing it, and then I kept seeing more and more 6s, and I was like, look, pregnant ladies again. And I kept pointing it out to Aiden, like,
that's funny.
So now he's thinking, like, not evil, it's the pregnant ladies, it's the mommy number,
But, like 6s are the number of creativity, like they're the number of creation.
Exactly. That's why it's the pregnant lady number now to me.
When you so like I was actually thinking about that a few days ago because I saw someone with a tattoo that has 666, and I kind of wanted to just like say, hey, don't worry guys, that person's not terrible. But
I ruin that Satanist day, they're like, what do you mean it's not bad?
Like I would never do that, but I mean, like, I do try to tell people to think of everything in the world as like my kids used to play this game when they were little where they would say like everything's backwards or everything's upside down, like it's upside down world or whatever. I try to tell people to think of everything that you've been taught as the opposite of what is true. And so like I mean, if you just look at life
for everything, for everything, the news, you name it,
most things we've been told are the opposite, and 666 is a really good example of that. 666 is probably the best number you could have because it's the number of creation, it's the number of creativity, it is the number literally that creates worlds and gives us a lot of our power. Because it is our big creative mind, and it's like unleashed when you use it. It would never be a devil number. It would never be a bad number. It would never be anything bad at all. It would be the best, most purest, most loving person, like it would be the best thing. Now, if you had like 3 8s, that could be a really bad number,
Well, see, I think 3 8s and I think abundance, but you never know what kind of abundance you're getting.
Well, no. So like 8s are about abundance, but they have a very clear light and dark side, so they can be really bad. They can be really good.
I'm thinking it as infinity when I see 8s as well.
It is. So that infinity sign that they make, it's really a signal of their patterns. Like the 8 is the number of patterns. And so it's specifically somebody who gets stuck in a loop of patterns, where they make a mistake and they make it again, they make a mistake, they make it again, but they're also the pattern breakers. That's why they have the 8, because like I know you have an 8, and you are someone who, yes, self-sabotages because of that 8, because you will make the same mistake over and over again, but you are also the person that will recognize the mistake at some point and put an end to it and never do it again, So that is what's good about that pattern, is that it will make you so uncomfortable that you do actually change it. You know.
Oh, I love that. One of my favorite lyrics in a song is, "I love how it feels when I break a chain." So yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That is such a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So that's funny because I often see eights and I'm like, "Ooh, let it rain," like that's how I think of eights when I
Yeah.
see.
No, that is how you should think of eights. Like, eights are either gonna come as a sign that abundance is coming, or they're going to be a warning that that there's danger, And so I always say, whenever you see eights, just feel into them. You'll feel it. Like, if it feels scary, then it's signaling danger, and you'll know to just move out of the way or do something different. If it feels good, then it's abundance. Then it's about something great coming. So yeah.
It's the nines. Out of all the numbers that kind of mess with me, it's the nines that I see that I'm like, "Oh shit."
So so we're in a 9 year, and 9 is a difficult number. I know this sounds crazy because I've been practicing for almost 20 years, but my guides work with me with specific numbers. They try to give me like all of the understanding over a period of time, and so right now they're working with me with the 9. They're trying to get me to understand it fully and more deeply. So what I learned recently about the 9 is that the 9 is a number of choices. So it's the future number, but it's also a number that is always asking you, will you do the right thing, or will you do the easy thing? Will you go with the person who will give you something, or the person you can help? It's the angel and devil on your shoulders. That's really
I
what
know. That's why I like it. It's
yeah.
always, it's the, I totally understand that it's got
Yes,
its reasons.
yin and yang. Yeah. But the 9 is all about the future. So like the 9 is the 9 is the vision of the future. It's you looking ahead and saying, what am I doing? Oh, Suzanne just said I'm walking the 9. So Suzanne's in my class and she's learning the 9 this week. So she's walking it, which is so cool. I love that. But yeah, so the 9 is the number that asks you, what do you want your future to be? And it's a number of choices. It's like you can choose whatever you want, but are you going to go the right way or the easy way? Are you going to, side with the good people or the people that can benefit you somehow? Like what are you doing with your life? And you can do whatever you want. It's always asking. And so between last year and this year, we are in a time where we're being asked, like very clearly, every one of us are being asked, what side are we siding with? Are we siding with our morals and values, or are we siding with whatever the heck we can do to get through it? Like, are we like taking the easier path, or are we taking the right path? And I only say that, I'm not saying the right path has to be hard, just that a lot of times it's harder to make a choice to do the right thing, than it is to do the easy thing, And the 9 is testing you. The 9 is saying, like, who do you really want to be in this world? Who do you want to show up as? Who do you want to partner with? Who do you want to, make a life with? Who do you want to walk with on this path? The 9 also opens your tunnel to the other side. So like your third eye has a tunnel that goes to the other side. That's where your loved ones come through. That's where you can go through to go visit and things like that. I did not know until very recently that it can open multiple tunnels. I did not know that. So like, actually, Laura, you're part of how I learned that. I took your astral projection class. I did not know that there were entities that could happen and all that. But I got kind of scared because I was like, I never had that happen. Like, I don't have bad dreams. I don't see entities, and I don't experience them that I know of,
You probably have a very high vibration and you're out of touch for them, If you can keep your vibration high, you lock them out.
I used to. I just forgot about all of that. And then when I took your class, I remembered again. And then I started asking questions about it to my guides. I was like, I don't understand, because when my tunnel opens, it only goes to the love and light. Like, it only goes to the other side. I didn't even know that there were multiple tunnels. Apparently, depending on where your focus is where your tunnel is going to open to. And I didn't realize that. And I was like, oh my goodness. So like, they showed that to me.
That's why they say what you focus on before going to bed is going to set the tone for your entire night. Yes. And then that entire night is going to set the tone for the next day. So what you do at night is actually setting up your entire next day ahead of time.
Yeah.
So if you're watching horror movies or something violent like true crime or whatever it is, you know, before bed, and then you go to bed, you have that in your mindset, and then your subconscious is usually what controls your dream state. So if you're watching that kind of content, you put yourself into a low vibration, and then you can kind of pivot yourself into one of those lower vibrational tunnels, so to speak. But if you're focusing on nice stuff, you're listening to, high vibe music, and you're just feeling really good, connected to your guides and whatever, you're going to change your whole vibe for the evening.
What's so strange is I just stopped having nightmares. Like, I don't know when, but like, it must have been years ago. I just stopped having nightmares. And when I go to sleep, I have a lot of lucid dreams. I wake up inside my dreams, and I can control them. I mean, they're still dreams a lot of times, but they're also visitations. But like, I don't have anything that like scares me in any way. And then I forgot that could happen. And so I had to ask about it. I was like, I remember when it used to be like that, when it was always scary. And now it's like
a lot of stuff that comes up in your subconscious when you're sleeping, because your subconscious wants you to work out all your shadow stuff. And if you're burying it down and suppressing it, it's going to come out when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So that's a call to attention.
I would say the only time I have like any kind of nightmares is when I'm stressed out. Like, and they're not like vicious, terrible, but they're like, I wake up upset,
the funny thing, what bothers me about my dreams on occasion, this is not very often, I am not a violent person at all. Like, I don't believe, I've never spanked my kid. Like, I'm one of those people. I don't believe in, unless it's self-defense, I'm not raising my arms up to anybody, But at the same time, in my dreams, I'm usually kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Like, it's so weird. Like, I'm usually defending myself, or I don't know what. I'm feisty in my sleep state, apparently.
Well, we have a joke about my sister's husband. Like, we always say that Dream Mark is mean, because like he cheats on her in her dreams, and he's mean to her, and he's not nice, and we're always like, Dream Mark's mean. So I don't know.
Well, I always say to my guides, like, I'm not working tonight. I'm staying in my body. I am going to rest. I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to just even keel tonight. And the next thing you know, I could have a dream where I'm like chasing beasties around and stuff. And I'm like, damn it, I said I wasn't going to work tonight. Universe doesn't understand. No, you got to say, I am staying in my body to rest. You don't say something like, I'm not going to do this, because they don't. Yeah. What do you think you're going to do?
You're focused on it, and you attach to that vibration. I was talking a lot about vibration and how it works to my daughter, because she's very interested. She doesn't understand what a parallel reality could be, and like what it really means. And I used to think that parallel reality meant you're actually jumping to another place. You're going to another whole place that's physical. And I was like, no, it's a whole consciousness. It's a different consciousness. Mm-hmm. And I said, it is literally just like you're here. Your focus is right here. So that's why you're here. And then you tune that frequency just a little higher, and then you're here, or you're here, like depending on where you tune it. It's just where you're looking that you're living. And I said, it is just literally where you're focused. And you just need to focus on a life that you want to be living in, instead of a life that you do not want to be living in. And that's how simple it can be. You can just say, do I like this? No. Okay. What would I rather? Let's focus there,
Because the law of attraction is very specific. If you say something like, I don't want pasta for dinner, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get pasta, because you're just talking about it. You're talking about pasta.
You're tuning into the frequency of pasta. Or like
people are gonna manifest. Exactly.
The way that I finally understood it was like they were like, if you focus on your bills, you're going to have more bills. And the reason why is because your guides and the universe and whoever's listening that's helping you is always like, what does she want? What does she want? Oh, bills. All she talks about is bills. All she thinks about is bills. She must want bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, that's definitely not it. So,
well, I think I did that with my mail actually too, because I kept getting like so much junk mail, and I set the intention. I'm like, I'm never getting junk mail again. It's done. It's done. No more. It's not in my reality. And every time I've checked my mailbox for the last like week, there's nothing in it. And I'm like, every time I open, I'm like, close it.
That's awesome. Now your next thing is I always get checks in the mail. I tried that. It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jessica says $1 million, please.
Yes. Yeah, me too. I'm on that one, please.
One of my first I saw a podcast once. This was like 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, where this woman, she was talking about how she was obsessed with the number 12. In fact, she wrote 12 everywhere, and she would even write it with like 6 zeros attached to it. You know what I mean? Like 12 million. She wrote it all the time. That's what she wanted to win, was $12 million. And it took her 2 years. She won 12 million. What's funny is she won 24 million, actually. Ended up getting to keep 12 of it because they took half in taxes.
That's interesting. That's really
interesting. It was so funny when I heard this. I was like, wow, does that mean you could really like manifest anything? Because my car was in the shop that day, and I was like, that means I'm going to get a ride to work today. It's raining. I don't want to have to walk all the way to work. So I went outside. And as I'm walking down the road, I'm like, somebody's going to pick me up. They're going to pick me up, like right now. And as I look over, one of my coworkers pulls up and he's like, do you want to ride? And I just stared at him like.
That's awesome. Okay, so then my question is, are you manifesting it or are you tapping into it? Which one?
My question. Like, was that a premonition or a manifestation?
Yes. Which one?
Both, I guess.
I guess it doesn't matter, but that's always my question. I'm always like, am I just like glimpsing the future or am I creating it? Because there's like so many things that that you shouldn't know, but then you do, and you're like, how did I know that? Did I tune into the frequency of it happening already? Or did I create it by somehow focusing on it? I don't know. So yeah.
I just gotta light my sage because my door just opened itself.
Oh wow. So that's something I wanted to ask you actually. And I forgot to ask you last time, but I saw your thing when your mic did that orb thing or whatever. It was so weird.
Yeah, that was an Arcturian I work with showing off.
That was really cool.
They do that because whenever I go off on a tangent about something they don't like, they're like, all right, show a shiny thing. Let's get her attention. Let's change the subject.
Yeah.
And it worked too. That's why it pissed me off because it totally distracted me from my train of thought. My rant got cut off immediately.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's them protecting you too, So
the guys are like, you said enough, Laura.
I mean, you gotta honor that kind of stuff.
Well, they're probably listening right now. Come on, guys, do it again. Well, did you want to do some numbers for people today? That would be fun.
I would love to do some numbers.
Well, chase off.
And if there's anyone I did not say hi to, I'm sorry, guys. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Maureen. Hi, everybody. I have seen a lot of names I know. I just haven't read the comments, but I love you guys, and I'm so glad that you're here hanging out with us. So sorry that I had to read it.
Everybody wants to see your cat, by the way. Ariana asked. I forgot to say that.
Well,
where's your cat? You're familiar.
I had the other cat earlier, but this is Merlin.
Hi, Merlin. Love his name.
He's really upset with me because I was gone for a week. So
now
that I'm home,
like that, don't they?
They definitely hold grudges. Yes. But yeah, Myra was the one that was circling me earlier. I don't know where she is now, but she's around somewhere. Anyway, but yeah, I would love to do some numbers. So you pick the numbers because I'm not good with favorites. I always pick favorites. So
Daphne,
I always have a picker so that I don't do that.
Oh, I love it. I like your cat's name, Daphne. That's funny. She named her cats Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong. Yeah. Nice.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he got named Merlin just like, I didn't know that I actually have Merlin as one of my guides, but I didn't know that. Merlin is actually a numerology guide, which he's teaching us numerology. And we found that out when I was teaching the class because the first time he actually came through to almost all of my students, either during meditations or in waking time. Some of them heard his voice. He came through me during a QHHT session and actually spoke. Yeah, he's one of the numerology guides. He's teaching numerology, which is amazing. So, but I named my
not had your numbers read before. Who hasn't been here before with Tami? Because there's a couple people I recognize before.
I don't know. So you pick anybody.
Let's do Maria. Maria's got a cool number.
Okay. That's actually my birthday.
Well, imagine that.
Okay.
I say a cool number because it's one of the pagan Sabbaths.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Am I saying that right? The August one. I never pronounced it right.
Yeah. Do you know what it means? Because I never heard of that.
August 1st. I never said Lamas is the easier way of saying it right. It's the Harvest Festival. You were born on the Harvest Festival.
Oh, okay. I assume that's good. I don't know what that means, but I assume that's good.
That is when you celebrate the fruits of your labor.
Well, that's good, definitely.
It's the halfway point between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That's why I'm planning on having our retreat in Missouri. That'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maria. Sorry, I wrote Marie. That's funny. It's funny because my middle name is Marie too. So you got my birthday and my middle name almost.
No such thing as coincidence.
What?
You said no such thing as coincidence?
No such thing as coincidence. So this is only one number off from my chart. And it's funny to look at how different it actually is. So Maria, you are a visionary. You are someone who is here to do bigger things in this lifetime. And that's because you're on your last life. When you're on your last life, it means that you're trying to finish things up. You're trying to get the last of your learning. And you're trying to do things right in this lifetime. So what you're working on mostly is that you are a teacher. You're an active teacher. You're somebody who is either a parent or a teacher or both. You're definitely an active one, though, because you have it very strongly, very concentrated. You're a very nurturing, loving soul. You're a humanitarian. And you're here to break generational trauma. One of the things that you're working on a lot is like changing things for the future. Like you have a very clear forward focus, like a very good future focus. And you're trying to make things better going forward, especially in your family line. So you're breaking things that always were. You're saying it ends with me. We're not doing this anymore. That's your main thing that you're doing. So that's a very good goal in life, I think.
It's got major validation because we were talking about this literally yesterday as we were talking about how adorable her new baby is.
Oh, That's awesome. Nice.
About being a portal for star seeds as well, and bringing in all of that bright light and giving them a soft landing as a good teacher, so to speak. So what a validation this is.
Yeah, well, she's also a spiritual guide. So like she's like a spiritual type of teacher. So like she's not just a teacher. She's like walking those teachings and really like embodying that, in this lifetime, and really has a very strong focus of it, so yeah, so hopefully that helps you.
That was wonderful. I think she resonated with that one. Something tells me.
Good.
Love that. Let's see. I'm just gonna pick it random, you guys, because there's like 50 people dropping numbers here. Ooh, this one looks good, and this one is my sister's birthday, actually, 12/12.
Okay. Cool, and you were talking about 12s a little while ago.
Exactly. So. That's why I picked that one. And it's also my sister's birthday, although she's 89.
Yeah.
And I always tell her, I only have to get you one present. Haha, because Christmas.
My kids, 2 of my daughters are born around Christmas. One is 2 days after Christmas, and one is like 2 weeks before Christmas. And they both get screwed every year. I mean, mostly the one after Christmas, but they both get screwed. So
love that.
Oh my goodness, there's so many ones. Okay. So Sarah, you do have a strong concentration of that 12 energy. Not just that it shows up in your birthday, but it also shows up in your chart, which does not always happen. Sorry about my cat.
At least there's not a cat butt. I mean, it's just a tail. That's harmless. It's fine.
My cat is tail like right in the camera. Oh my goodness. What are you doing, Creepy?
Merlin's like, I am the actor. I am the show.
Stop. Just go on my lap.
Oh, he's fine. He's adorable.
Okay, so all right, so Sarah, you are someone who is very you are very independent, you're very directional, you're someone you're using your crown chakra in this lifetime. Your crown chakra is your connection to God or source or the higher power. It's your connection to sorry, he's waiting. It's your connection to the angels or to your higher self. That connection is actually the white light energy. It is the divine wisdom. You're pulling that down and you're pulling that white light into your body, and then you are filling yourself up with that white light, and then you're giving that to the world, because you're also working with your heart. So like you're working mainly with your crown chakra and your heart chakra. You're also working with your root chakra. The 8 is your root chakra. The 2s are your heart. The 1 is your crown. You have a very high concentration of that crown chakra energy, and then also the heart. And because you are the humanitarian, what that says to me is that you are literally bringing love from the other side, and you are giving that to people, and you are trying to raise humanity with that love. You're also someone who's very balanced, even though I don't know if you always feel that way, because you do have a lot of like roller coaster emotions. You are someone that is always seeking balance, and you're somebody who is trying to provide balance around you for other people as well. So when you're doing that means that you're like the stable person. You're the one that like is the rock for other people. You're also someone that I would call the unconquerable, which means that yes, you're going to have depression. Yes, you're going to have hard times. But you're always going to get back up and you're going to be okay. And you're somebody who I wouldn't worry about, because you're always going to get back on your feet. And when I don't see that combination and I see a lot of struggle, then I go, oh, I hope that they have a support system. But you actually are the support system, like you are actually are the person that when you're okay, everybody's okay. And when you're not okay, nobody's okay, so that's kind of how people would look at you. But yeah, you're all heart, and you're also here to break generational trauma, just like the last one. You're just doing it in a little bit of a different way. I would say that you feel like love to me, like you have a lot of loving energy. So hopefully that helps.
I'm looking for a number that's different to what we've seen before. Sonia's got an interesting birthday, 4/13/92.
Okay. Okay. Sorry it takes me a minute to write them.
No, you're fine. Are you kidding? We love this. This is great fun.
Okay, good.
You're so nice to do a bunch of random ones, so it's really cool.
Yeah, this is so fun. This is my favorite thing to do.
I love numbers. Like it's the language of the universe we're learning here.
It really is, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a couple of interesting things. You definitely have like this like struggle going on with your emotions and with your you feel like you're being pulled in many directions in this life, and you feel like you are very focused. You do have this direction that you're going in, but that direction kind of like goes different ways. Like it keeps going different ways. It looks like at some point your belief system changes like drastically, like maybe like you believe wholeheartedly in one thing and then you go so long that way and then something happens and you burn it to the ground and start over. I would assume you're on the other side of that where you've already done that. But really the other side of that is kind of like, now this is your real life. Like this is the life you were trying to step into. So you're on the better side of it at that point. You could still be in phases of that, where you're still collecting what your new beliefs are, but definitely you are seeking, like in this lifetime. You are also someone who so this is really interesting because I see it a lot now that I know that it exists. The guide showed me this sometime in the last year. You have an invisibility cloak. And what that means is that you are able to go invisible on command. Whenever I tell people this, they're like, why would I want that? And I'm like, I would want that, but I understand what it is. And that's probably why. So, you are somebody that like when you want to be invisible, you do become invisible. And the reason that you do that is because you are an introvert and you do not like people all the time. Like sometimes you love people, sometimes you can't handle people and you'll go inward, but you don't just go inward. You actually disappear even if you're in a room full of people won't see you. And that is something that you can command, whether you know that you can command it or not yet. You can command it. And it is a really big superpower. Like just to give you an example, the way that the guide showed me was with Anne Frank. Anne Frank had an invisibility cloak, and that is how she actually did a lot of the things that she did. It's because she could go invisible on command. And you have a lot of power. Like you're all in the spiritual, like you're very stacked in the spiritual. So you have this ability to connect to the higher power, whatever you consider that to be. You also have this ability to see the bird's eye view of life. So you're always looking at a few steps ahead rather than right in front of you. And that helps you decide what to do next. And then you also have a forward focus because you have that third eye that's open. So you're very psychic and you have a lot of abilities that you wouldn't normally have. I have found that people that have natural psychic abilities that they have not had to develop, they were just born with, they do have some trouble understanding how many abilities they have because they come so natural, So you may not realize how psychic you are, but you're very psychic, and you can use that. And then you do have some emotional, like just muck going on, where you're going to be like high and low and high and low. But that's all because you're trying to make the world a better place. You're really working on that in this lifetime. So Yeah, you got great numbers.
Wonderful. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Let us
it
know
was
if you can say with that, Sonia.
Yeah, let us know if it makes sense to you.
Love that. I just want to, in between, highlight Suzanne's wonderful comment right there.
Aww.
Class has opened up so much for me. It has helped me to find more compassion for others and to understand where they are coming from. Love that. Thank you, Suzanne.
What I really like about watching people go through the class is they really walk the numbers. So like they learn one number a week for the first 10 weeks, well, the first 9 weeks. And they really walk in that number. So they feel the energy of the numbers. Like the numbers really speak to you and walk with you. They're almost like beings of their own. It's kind of like crystals, like they're alive, and you feel that. So yeah, it's just amazing. Oh, thank you, Charisse.
Charisse is the best. Thank you, Charisse.
Yeah, so I go live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Central. And I also have my readings on sale right now. So you guys can get readings, like, full readings if you want to, which my full readings last an hour to 2 hours. So I tell you a lot in a short amount of time. So I'll give you that link.
Our readings are phenomenal, you guys. Really, you get so much information about yourself, and it's funny because you also end up like resonating more as time goes because you like call attention to some things, and then once that's it's like it helps you notice more.
Well, the other thing is that the guides will send messages directly for you, and that really helps,
Yeah.
So when we're sitting in a reading, a lot of times I'll tell you things that aren't even in your numbers because they'll just talk to me and they'll show me a picture about what you're going through right now. And I'll be like, oh, I'm seeing this. And then you'll be like, oh my goodness, that's what I'm going through right now. And then we talk it out, like I had a whole discussion with a girl. So I had this girl come to me last week, 2 weeks ago, and I don't know how I saw it, but I like saw a divorce around her. And I didn't want to say that because I had just met her like 2 minutes before that. I didn't even explain what numerology was yet. And I just kept seeing divorce. And so I didn't say it at first because I was like, stop, don't say that, And then I tried to say it really nice. I was like, I see a really rough relationship somehow around you. She goes, yeah, I'm getting a divorce. That's why I came to you. And I was like, oh my goodness, why didn't I say it, but that's what happens. And so that's what we talked about. We talked about, how she can handle that better and how she can do it with grace, and how her guides were speaking about what her steps next should be and how to protect herself. That's what we ended up talking about the whole time, so it just depends on what you're going through and what your questions are. I mean, I'll tell you all about your life, but I'll also tell you directly whatever's coming through, so it is helpful.
We haven't done a man's yet. Patrick.
Do that.
We'll do Patrick, and then we'll do Harry, and then I want to also, if we could do 3 more, we'll do Patrick, we'll do Harry, because I see you, Harry. I was going to pick you a second ago. And then there was another person that's also new here. So Patrick's is 10/4/68.
Yep, I got it.
I picked it because of the year as well, because that's an interesting year, 68.
That is an interesting year. That's a year that's all about creativity and art and music, and like also about triumph. Like I just keep seeing the word triumph, like overcoming obstacles and using creativity to do that. That's what that would be about. Okay. All right.
Cool.
My cat knocked my other paper down. Okay.
Like the toes today.
I'm gonna quick type to you what my thing is. Hang on. I just sent you just privately my link, so then you can put that up whenever. Okay, so Patrick, you are on what we call an optional last life. And what that means is that you took on a whole bunch in this life that may or may not be, too much for you. Like, it's kind of like I took on a whole, it's what it's saying. Like, I always talk as if I'm the numbers, okay? It's saying, like, I took on a whole bunch and I'm not sure that I'm going to accomplish everything the way that I have intended. So I'm giving myself kind of this like option where I get to the end of my life and I kind of look around and evaluate and I say, did I do all the things that I wanted to do? Did I do them the way I wanted to do them? Do I feel complete? Or do I want to come back and try just a little bit different and do it again? That's what an optional last life is. And you did that because you have a very strong focus of making the world a better place in this lifetime. I always say you are here to make the world a better place for you having been here. And you are here to do that with your creativity. Like, you are someone who follows a lot of different paths and does a lot of different things. You are a traveler, like you have travel in your blood. You're actually what I call the wanderlust explorer, which is somebody who is an adventurer and an explorer. And it like creates this really free spirit. Like, you almost have like a hippie vibe, it's like you're like this. I mean, to me, you feel like someone who does not wear a shirt, and you're like walking
She's barefoot
shirtless through like the woods, like that's what it feels like to me.
You've totally nailed Patrick to a T. That's perfect. That's hilarious.
That's what it feels like to me. But then you do have this really strong focus, this really big determination, and your determination is headed in the direction of, completing your goals as you've intended and getting things right. Like, you're not just like, you feel like somebody who's just kind of, going with the wind. That's how you feel, but that's not actually how you are. You're not actually doing that. Like, it looks like you're doing that to other people maybe, and it feels like that, but you actually have quite a lot of purpose, and you have a lot of intention behind that purpose. You're doing it all for a reason, and you're not just very wavy. Like, you feel like you are wavy, but you're doing it with intention, and you're very determined. And then you've got this, like, I also keep seeing like a guitar, and like, I really do just keep seeing you sitting in the middle of the woods. Like, I kind of, I'm having a vision of you sitting on a rock, and your one leg is over the other leg, like you're like resting your foot on your knee, and then you have a guitar in your hands, and there's like people just, hanging out, there's a fire maybe, I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing you just like be this like woodsy, fun, flowy person, that's really cool to hang out with, that's what I'm seeing.
I've hung out with him in person before. I can validate that.
You don't know it. Am I just like saying things?
No, you do. That's how I know. Patrick's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. I also think you could be a really good storyteller because you have a lot of like ancient wisdom, and I can see it in your eyes somehow. Like, when I look in your eyes, like, I know that sounds weird because I can't see you, or I don't even know what you look like. But when I look in your eyes, I see all this wisdom pour back at me. Like, you're an ancient soul that has just collected so much wisdom, So I would think there's like storytelling going on that's really interesting, So.
Oh, I love that, Tami. Well done. That was a good
one.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm sure Patrick resonates with that.
Of course. I hope it makes sense.
Let's do another man. We had all the ladies, of course. There we go.
Okay.
Harry. This is for you, Harry. Harry's new here, so
okay. Nice to do it. Harry.
Welcome, Harry.
Okay.
And then I'll eeny, meeny, miny, moe the last one. We'll see who's going to pick.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. Okay, this is also someone that is on their last life, or sorry, not last life, an optional last life, like I just talked about with Patrick. So you could go back and listen to that because it's going to be the same thing. You are, here to do a lot of things, and you're just not sure if you're going to do them the way you want. So you're on an optional last life. You have okay, so you're really hard on yourself. Like I was going to say something else, but then this is being pointed out to me. So you're really critical of yourself. Definitely overly critical. You kind of pick apart your own decisions, and you're like telling yourself that you could have done better, or you should be doing better, or something like that. And right now your guides are saying knock that off. Like that's what they're pointing out. You are very much, you have it twice where you're here to make the world a better place for you. Having been here, you're doing that both in the mental and the physical, which means that you are affecting people on multiple levels, and you're trying to make everything pretty around you. Like you're always trying to make things look nice and feel nice, and you're trying to help people have better experiences. Sorry, this is Myra. She was the one that was here earlier. Oh, Myra looks like a reptile to me. she's got this these green eyes, and she just looks like a reptile. And
she looked at you just like that when you said that.
She has this weird look to her. I don't know, but she's very loving. I love her. Anyway, sorry, back to Harry. So you are a very, very loving person. You have a gentle nature. You're somebody who is a little bit confused about a few things. Like you have this thing where you do get your feelings hurt easy, and you have trouble with expression. It's like you don't know how to say that your feelings get hurt unless you're very hurt, and then you kind of explode with emotion. But you're really very much.
They bottle it up though, and then they don't. They let the pressure cooker boil. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling in this. Mm-hmm. But then I'm also seeing like opportunities everywhere, and I'm seeing you have relationships. Like you're very charismatic. You're somebody who people are drawn to. You've got this really beautiful energy that people just love to be close to. And you have a lot of wisdom. Like you are someone who has a really good connection with your spirit guides, even if you don't know that. And you do channel messages. You're a natural channel, but you don't really tell people anything unless they ask, or you don't tell people anything unless you're close to them. Like I can't really exactly feel what it is, but I can see you not sharing until it's appropriate, or not sharing until you're ready to, or something like that, because you're a mixture between introvert and extrovert. Like sometimes you're an introvert, sometimes you're an extrovert. You're not, I want to say you're a people person because you've got people all around you, but you're more inward than that. And you're more like it's almost special to get close to you. Like it's special to get close to you. Like if you let someone in, it's very special, and if they screw you over, you push them way out, yeah, but you have a really beautiful nature and a really beautiful soul, and you kind of just feel like, this is going to sound weird because I don't think I've ever said this, but you feel like a melody to me. Like you feel like a song. Like you feel like this warm hug. Yeah, that's what you feel like, a warm hug.
Yeah, you validating.
I always feel weird when I'm just talking to strangers and telling them weird stuff like this. I don't know. But that's really what you feel like. Yeah, a musician. Okay, so yeah, you feel like a song. That makes sense. Okay.
It's just like you feel like a song. He says, I'm a musician. You nailed that.
I've never said that to anyone, I don't think. So, but that's what it feels
She's channeling right now. She just didn't know it.
I channel a lot, so it's a good thing, I promise. Because if you were like hearing my thoughts, they wouldn't be the same. Because I would just be like, I don't know what I'm talking about, But
yeah. I love that. Thank you.
Of course.
We nailed it. Thank you, Harry, for the validation as well. Awesome. All right.
Okay. So who do you want me to do next?
Well, I did have a Miss Denise like jumping up and down in the comments, waving her arms there. Denise, darling, we can make you. Okay. Denise is really, she's really feeling it there. So why not?
Yeah, of course. I love when people understand themselves. I really do love numerology so much.
I know. This is fun. I told you guys this is fun. I could do this all day. If I didn't have to chase beasties, I would.
Yeah. And I do it all day. So I could do it every day.
Well, the funny thing is I can't stand math. It's like I can memorize things, but memorizing and applying formulas, no, not gonna do that.
My daughter said to me sometime this week, she said, Mom, I really want to learn numerology, but I don't like math. And I said, I was like, Shauna, numerology is very little math. It's like so little math that I think a second grader could do this math, really. So it's not a lot of math.
It's Aiden's favorite subject. He loves math. In fact, he's advanced math. He's like, math is boring. They had to give me faster or like more advanced math. So he's doing like extra credit math for fun, and I'm like that's coming from your dad's side. That is not me.
You might like numerology then. Okay. So Denise, okay, so you do have a little bit more of a difficult energy. You are you have a bit of in your face kind of energy, not in a mean way.
She was in the comments like,
yeah, I would think that's accurate because you are very bold and you are very much present. You are like, I am here, I matter, my voice matters. I'm not going to take no, so like that's what I'm seeing. You're like a woman with a mission, and I would say your mission is spirituality, like you are running down many paths with spirituality. You're trying to learn as much as you can. And you are exploring, like you're definitely exploring the spiritual side of things. You are also a teacher. And you are someone who is gathering information because you're trying to give it to others. You're trying to make sure that other people are receiving things the way that, not the way that you are, but actually you're gathering it and then you're simplifying it and then you're delivering it. So like you're trying to give it, you have this very, it's funny because you don't have a lot of patience in one way. And then in another way, you have this very patient way of delivery, like with your teaching style. You have this like really beautiful nature when you're guiding someone. When somebody's not giving you what you want, though, you can get very direct and very bold, So you're just like you're very strongly on your mission toward whatever your purpose is. And you're determined in that. You also are someone that is just very fueled by your why. So like you're very hard.
In the Matrix again.
What happened? What did you say? What happened, Laura?
What happened? Can you guys still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. We had a glitch there. You disappeared for a minute.
Okay, I was like, what happened?
We're back now.
Well, hopefully you heard all that.
Yes.
Okay, Denise, you're also an astral traveler, a natural one. Everyone can astral travel, but you do it naturally, whether you know it or not. You are someone who actually goes in the astral, gathers what you need, and then brings it back to use it in your life. Um, you're also the wise man at the gates of East and West, which is somebody who holds the wisdom. Like this is like almost, I don't want to say a gatekeeper of wisdom because it's not like you're holding it and not giving it to others, but
Right.
you are someone who holds it in like you hold it in a way where you understand its importance. Like you don't take it for granted. You hold it like it's sacred and you give it to the ones who deserve it, the ones who need it, the ones who will value it. You are a holder of knowledge and a distributor of knowledge as well because of your teaching. But you have a lot of discernment. So like I would say I would trust you to know who needs your knowledge and who doesn't, you know. And if you have any trouble with that, I would definitely meditate. If you're ever struggling with who to teach, I would say just go inward and ask, you know, because you're very much like you're very intentional with your teachings, you know, and with the knowledge that you're holding, and you really do you fight for what you need, you know. So you really are somebody who is here with just a very clear purpose and a very clear direction and all the ability to deliver it the way that you intend, you know. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you know, I don't know, hopefully you get something from it. So that's what I'm seeing.
Perfect. And I just
Yeah.
want to highlight Sharice's comment again. Thank you so much, Sharice. I'm scrolling back up for it. There it is. Tami also offers courses to become a numerologist.
I do. I
Yeah. Do you
do.
want to talk a little bit about that as we finish things up?
Yeah, of course. So I run a 30-week program and I do certify you at the end to become a numerologist yourself. I wasn't sure how it would go when I first started doing it because I really didn't know that I could teach this in the way that I know it because I've been doing it for 20 years and I don't have a book on it that I can hand to you. You know, most of my knowledge comes from my spirit guides and you know, and practice, you know. But really every person I've certified is so freaking good. You know, like they really get to the end of it and they start practicing and they're so good and people really get a lot from it, you know. So numerology sounds like something that is just like, you know, I'm just going to go get a reading and it's not going to be a big deal. It's going to just be this fun thing that I do, but it actually really is impactful and it changes your life, you know. So a lot of people come back even after one reading and they'll say, I can't stop thinking about it. Everything has changed. Like it's opened me up. It's unlocked me, you know. And that's what I love about it, you know. So Suzanne, you're doing great teaching it. I love the class. Everyone, so let me tell you something. I am not like a big person to say I'm amazing. Okay. Like I am amazing, but
You are amazing.
I'm not the person to go, I'm good at this and I'm good at that. But I will say that this is the first course that I've ever seen people go through fully invested till the end and still want more. Like I've never taken a course where I've felt that invested the whole time. And I've never seen anybody be so invested as my students. Like I mean, I do vet my students. I don't let just anybody join, but like the people that do join, every one of them are fully invested and love it the whole time and can't get enough. Even after it, we still talk, you know, and we still do sessions together and we practice all the time. We have a lot of fun doing celebrities and doing people in their families
That
and all
would
that.
be fun. I'm always like, I've looked at people like Henry VIII's numerology and their charts and stuff. Like, I get so curious about people in history. I'm like,
Yeah.
it gives me a lot of insight.
On Friday nights, oh, Nicole, I'm going to see you. I just saw you on my calendar this week. I'm going to see you in a couple days. Yay. I've done some readings with Nicole, and oh my goodness, her life. I told Nicole something that like I shouldn't have. And she like walked around for a year wondering about it. And I'm so sorry about that. but she's totally good now. So
I love it. Tina had a great question. Oh, where to go? Just
okay.
there we go.
I love that you can put them up like that.
I know, make it easy.
Do you need a great memory? No, you really don't. So what I tell everybody, because what I noticed is like when we got to level 2 is harder than level 1. Because there's just a lot of knowledge going on. Like they're learning all the combinations and the multiples and all the things about the numbers. I noticed everyone was trying to memorize everything. And I said, hey guys, you don't have to know everything. You have to know where to find it when you need it. So you create a good book where you, like my book, this is probably my 5th book, I would say, of numerology, but I just write everything out in my book. And then I just know where to find it when I need it. And when you're in the middle of a reading, nobody cares if you're looking at a book. They just want to know that you can tell them what they're asking, you know. The thing that happens, so this is something that happens to every person, and I did not know it would happen. I was hoping it would, but I didn't know it would. It opens you to be a channel with your spirit guides. It opens you very quickly to be a channel. And so like you start channeling messages before you even realize that you're doing it. And then you have direct communication going from spirit guide to client, you know. And just so you know, like you don't shift, you don't lose consciousness. None of that happens when you're a channel, not this kind of channel. You just literally deliver messages through you, right through your mouth, you know, directly to what the people need. It also forms that relationship for you with your spirit guides because you not only know they're there, they directly speak through you, and you'll know it, like you'll feel it.
And I love that. Yes, Suzanne, I totally agree that it opens you up. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it opens you up quickly.
Setting especially too, because you got so much energy coming into that group when you're learning together as well. Like you just have so much of a high vibration. You vibe. It's almost like you reverberate each other higher as you're doing the work. So when your vibration goes up, this is why group works, and group exercises are phenomenal because you get the validation, your vibration goes up, you get more knowledge and experience coming through, and it's just wonderful. I love learning as a group.
Well, and groups are so different than one-on-one. Like I was doing one-on-one forever, and I could not understand. I mean, I had a good connection all the time, but I could not understand why it wouldn't magnify the way that I've seen it magnify. As soon as you're in a group, the energy magnifies. It creates this like vortex around all of you, and it like swirls your energy together. Like you can feel it. And it brings in messages you would never get.
That's why you want to be with the right people. If it's not your people, if it's not your tribe, otherwise they'll do the opposite.
Yes. Well, the reason why I vet the people is because, well, for me, this is very sacred work. I would never just give it to just anyone, and I would never want someone to misuse it because you really could. You could really hurt people knowing this much about them, you know? So I really do vet the people. There was someone I had to throw out of numerology class. She was very manipulative and she was using it for the wrong reasons. And even when I was vetting her, I said to her, I don't think this is right for you. And then she just kept saying to me, it feels like a calling. It feels like a calling. And I was like, well, I know what that feels like. So I let her in hesitantly, but I ended up throwing her out after level 1 because she was so manipulative and nobody felt safe around her. And I don't want that. Like, I will not allow my groups to be that way. So if
something like that happens again, let me know, because I can always check for imposter guides for somebody for you.
Yeah, maybe I'll run them through you, you know, too.
Like, I just mean if something feels off and you need validation, because I do something called spiritual background checks now. Okay. I haven't been listing them on my Facebook, on my website yet, because I'm already like really behind. But when I get caught up and have more trained mediums available, I will be offering them regularly. And it's a spiritual background check. It's just to check whether or not you're in alignment. If the intentions on both sides, if the chords are balanced, if everything is legit, so to speak. And it's funny, the reason I started doing that was to validate other impressions that other people have gotten to see whether or not it was accurate, and it's been accurate almost every time. Like, your intuition is spot on a lot of time, guys, so don't gaslight yourself. If you need further validation, that's one thing, but don't doubt what you're feeling, what you're sensing.
I have found that every time I doubt myself, I'm always wrong when I doubt myself. You'll things.
You learn a lot, though, because when you finally receive that validation, you start to notice all the other little signs and nuances that you might have missed before. Yeah. So your strength, your intuition will be stronger next time.
Yeah. Well,
so one person wanted to know how much the training is, out of curiosity.
So the last round, I think, was $4,400. I think that's what the total is. Okay. I did run an apprentice class, which was at like a 4-week, like kind of like deep. It wasn't a deep dive. It was like just kind of a taste of numerology. I did decide to stop running that. I was giving a discount if you took that class. I decided to stop running that because I don't think it's enough. And I feel like I'm giving people this much and they can't really do enough with it. And I don't want anyone to get screwed up over it, honestly. So
how long is the training for an average student that would like to, use this as a career? Because obviously doing this as a career is really...
It's a career, and you do make good money with it. I will tell you that for sure.
I bet.
So it is 30 weeks long, and Perfect. Those weeks are very, like, every week you have a training, and then you have homework, and then we have a Q&A every other week together live. And I invite past students to those Q&As. So we all do it together, and we're all learning together, and you really kind of end up in this tribe with us, and it's really amazing. Like, we just have, I cannot tell you, like, my students are now my family. Like, I can't live without them.
Validates what Suzanne just said. If you took numerology in college, it would be $10,000. I've actually seen people pay double that for their degrees. So really, that's right.
Well, when I first ran it, I went through all my books to see what do I actually make from numerology. Can you make this money back? You can make this money back within a month or two. If you're practicing, if you're charging normal rates, I do have a whole section on talking about how to charge and what to charge and why it's important to charge, and things like that. I do talk all about that because it is important to treat this like a business. And especially if you're going to make an investment like this, make a full deep dive investment where you are present, you are in it, you mean it. And just know that you're going to get initiation while you're in it. Every one of my students got initiation from Merlin himself. Everyone, I don't know if every one of them directly spoke to him, but they all felt like they were entering initiation points where they were being asked, are you serious? Do you mean it? Do you want to do this? Because it really is sacred work for real. And it's not something that is just generic, and you're telling people all about their real life. Like, you're not just like, this is not like normal numerology. This is a different type of numerology that you won't find anywhere. And if you do find it, please tell me, because I am looking for it. I want to find a book on it so I don't have to write the book, but like, it's really.
How many hours a day is the training?
So it's a 1-hour training once a week for 30 weeks. And the homework probably will take you, 20 minutes. You'll do the 1 hour training. It's like 1 hour to an hour and a half, I would say, every week. And then about 20, 30 minutes for the homework. And then the Q&As are usually, they average about 2 hours. Sometimes they're like 4 hours, but you can leave anytime you want. We just really love talking to each other. You do get certified. Yeah, you do get a certification. I do actually promote your work. We're actually starting a student newsletter, a graduate newsletter right now, where I want to promote people, and I have like links for all your stuff so that I can send you work. Also, I've told my students that like when I start getting bigger opportunities, I'm going to bring them into those opportunities because I want to help them. Like I want them to get more work. I want them to feel like they're really walking the numbers because the numbers want them, the numbers want you to work with them as much as you want to work with them, So most of my students right now are doing vendor events and they're doing one-on-one readings. You can find them on my website as well. I'll actually post about them on my page. I'll post about my students. I'll put the link there and everything so you can find my students too.
Fantastic. I'm going to drop the link for you guys. And then I just want to address one of the comments here because this is an extremely common misconception. And I've actually spoken with my spirit guides about it because somebody, Kim, just brought it up. She believes that it is wrong to charge for your gifts.
Yes.
And a lot of people say that. And I've actually spoken with my guides about it several times. And they said that it's actually extremely important to have a balance between give and take.
Yeah.
And it's also, a lot of this knowledge takes years to gain. It takes a lot of time and patience and love. And we all have to survive on this planet. We all have to pay our bills. We need a roof over our head. We need to be able to feed ourselves and our families. And so to assume that we have to have a 9-to-5 job where we're slaving away and then to do this in our free time is absolutely absurd. It's actually like it's an insult is what it is, because everybody on this planet needs to survive. Everybody has to, it's a give and take between every single one of us. So anytime somebody says, oh, you should be doing this for free, it is an insult to you and your experience that you've spent years cultivating.
I've been doing this. This will be my 20th year of doing this. I've been doing it since the pandemic. I've been doing it full time, only this and my crystal business, which is kind of like barely slugging along in the background because I don't have time for it because I do a lot of this. But what I will say is that my mom taught this to me. Like this was passed down from my mom. My mom has never charged for numerology. And for a really long time, she was really mad at me. And she kept saying, you're not supposed to charge for your gifts. You're not supposed to do that. And so I really struggled with that for a really long time. And I thought, am I supposed, like, these are gifts. Ththese come very easy to me.
I just naturally understand gifts, but just because you got a gift doesn't mean you give it away.
No. Well, what happened was I came along to this there was this girl I gave a reading to one time. I gave her a free reading. Okay. And I used to do a lot. I've done hundreds at least free readings, but I said to her, I said, well, that's it. We're done, and she goes, well, I'm going to do some Reiki for you. And I said, oh, no, I don't need that. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I don't need that, And then she said, no, she said, that actually is selfish. She said, what you're doing is you're giving to me and you're not allowing me to give back to you. And that's actually breaking the circle of sharing.
What a beautiful way of looking at that. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She said, you're taking because when you give a gift like this to somebody, you are actually sharing something beautiful with them. And when you don't allow anything to come back to you, you're the only one taking all that. You're the one taking all that, I don't know, you get from giving, if you ever give to somebody, it fills your heart up. That's an actual energy. And if you don't actually reciprocate both ways, then it stops the circle from completion. And then only one person walks away with the gift of it, And
if you're one of those people let's say that you are, a trust fund baby and you've got tons and tons of money and it doesn't matter and you can donate your time to the world, that is wonderful. I applaud you. Fantastic. Thank you for everything you do. But you still have to understand that not everybody can be identical. Not everybody is able to do things the same way with the same, it's just let people do what they feel is right to do and leave it at that. Nobody needs to tell anyone else how to do or what to give or anything like that. You give what you feel like giving, and nobody has the right to question that.
Well, okay, this goes way back to the beginning of our conversation when I said, think of this world as upside down world, like think of it as the opposite of everything that you learned. Like when you don't charge for something that you give to somebody and you're enhancing their life with it, when you don't charge for that, then what you're doing is you're leaving an incomplete thing there. Like you're not completing that circle of sharing. And so they're walking away with only half of it. And it's not really fair, honestly. And let me tell you something else. When I don't charge, people don't value it. Like I whenever I have people show up on my calendar who either were gifted a reading or they're like a family member that somehow got a reading for free, they either don't show up or they reschedule or they don't value it. They just don't value it. And it doesn't impact them the way that it could. Like when you have paid even a little bit of money for something, you value it in a different way than you do when you haven't. And I really didn't know that that was a thing until I saw so much of it, because I was doing I did a lot of free coaching. I did a lot of free readings. It's very, very different when people pay. It's a very different energy. And I strongly recommend you try it for yourself. Go get a free reading and then go get a paid reading. The whole energy is different. You walk away different. And also you have to have the belief that when I give, two times comes back, like whenever I give, more comes back than I give out, like you always have to believe I'm giving and I'm getting, I'm giving and I'm getting. That is how the world works. Like we are always just sharing. There's nothing that one person has that someone can't have, but we're always sharing. Like it's never okay for one person.
It doesn't have to be a monetary exchange. You can exchange time. You can exchange energy. You can donate things. You can give testimonials. There's a lot of things that you can do to kind of balance things out. And I truly believe in altruism. Like about half of the clearings I do are pro bono cases. But the thing is, I also would not be surviving. I would be literally living in a cave with no internet, no website, no ability of being able to reach people if I wasn't charging. Because how do you expect me to pay for my internet? How do you expect me to pay for the laptop I'm using and the roof over my head and the food in my belly? Like, this is life on earth, guys. This is what we got to do to survive. Like, it's not.
Yeah. Well, I had my readings on sale last year for like $23. It was the lowest I had ever put them. And I had people that bought like, 6 readings and 10 readings at a time, and they were gifting them to everybody that they knew. I would say about half of them never even came for their readings. Like never even came, never even scheduled them, like never came. It's you just value what you pay for, and it's 100%. Not, I mean, to tell you the truth,
all the kids that don't go to school, they skip school in high school, but then college comes around and you're like, oh, I'm paying for this shit. I'm here every day.
Yes, it changes your focus, and but it also changes what you get out of it, So I decided when I first ran numerology class that there would be no scholarship students ever, because I won a scholarship. I won a really big scholarship that was awesome, but I don't use it. Like I haven't really taken advantage of it. I've always felt like I didn't earn it. So even though I did earn it, I did more to get it than the people paying the money for it. I really did. And that's what they would say. That's what they have said to me. But I didn't feel like I earned it. And so I didn't feel like it was mine and I could have it. And I don't want any obstacles like that for a numerologist. Like I want you to have every freaking benefit of this work. I want you to feel like it's yours. You earned it. There's nothing getting in your way, because I struggle with imposter syndrome. And I know you do too, Laura, because that ate. If you have a strong 8 in your chart, you're going to struggle with imposter syndrome. You're going to always wonder. It's true. You're going to always go, okay,
all my eggs in other people's baskets because I don't trust my own basket to be sturdy. That's what somebody told me the other day. And I was like, damn, how? Like that hits so deep there. But it's true. Yeah, I always do that. I've always done that.
I've always done it too. I've always gone, well, I don't have enough certifications. So I just went out and got certifications all over the place. I don't have enough testimonials. So I got testimonials. Like I'm not smart enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not whatever. And I would just make up all these excuses why it wasn't me. And then I had this QHHT session a few months ago where they went, it is you, you are the one to deliver the message. And I was like, but it's not me. And they're like, it's you. So,
I really love this. By the way, I just want to raise Tina's point. I believe if Spirit was calling you to a field, the funds to take its certification will be made available or become available to you through action and manifestation. I have literally seen that so many times.
Me too.
Where even people will be like, I don't know where I'm going to get the money, but I'm just going to trust I have it. And then sure enough, I'll hear from them like a week later and they were like, I got it.
You know what I do? I buy a lot of courses and I hire a lot of coaches and things like that. I don't ever ask how much it costs first. I always, like, if they try to even tell me how much it costs, I always say, no, tell me what the benefits are. Tell me what I'm going to get out of it. I want to decide if this is even what I want first. So like I go, is this what I want? Will this help me? Will this benefit my life? And then at the very end, I say, okay, what does it cost? And then they tell me this astronomical number. And then I go, well, if I need it, then it's there for me. If I want it, it's there for me. And then I just believe that if I really do want it, it will happen. And every single one of those things have always happened, always have happened.
The universe is always listening, you know?
Yeah, but the universe, like, this is where we go wrong. Okay. Like when it comes to manifestation, one of the ways that we go wrong is we go, well, how much does it cost? And then our whole perception is based on that. The reason why a sales page is written the way that it is, those very long sales pages, they're written the way that they are so that you understand how to make a decision without blurring the lines. You know, if you just skip to the bottom, which I do, you skip to the bottom and you just read the cost, then what you do is you're looking at it through that lens of, can I afford it? Is it worth it? All these things. But if you don't even look at the cost and you just ask yourself, is this for me? Should I do this? Is this what I want? Then the cost won't actually mean what it means, you know?
Tami. Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's always more money. There's always a way of pulling attention to you. It's money is in abundance that you can literally call to you with the right mindset. 100%.
Money is just energy, and there is all of our world is made up of energy. So we get so caught up in this, and it is so ridiculous because we put a focus on it, but money is not different than anything else, you know. And you can trust that it will be there when you need it because you're always taken care of, you know. And if you really think about it, you can prove that to yourself. Like, you can prove, I've always had air to breathe. Have you ever questioned that there will be air to breathe? You know, like, there's always air to breathe. The
funny thing is, my guide's been telling me I'm always holding my breath too much. So apparently this is part of that, you know, there's always air to breathe. And yet there's air to breathe. What you need.
Well, let me ask you a question, because like, you have trouble trusting one thing, okay, but you don't have trouble trusting everything. So if I ask you right now, when you go to sleep tonight, will the sun rise tomorrow? Will the sun come up tomorrow? What do you think? Okay.
I don't know. There's darkness, they say, might come down.
I feel like you can count on the sun rising and setting. So like, for me, I look at that and I go, that's a truth. Like that's something I know will happen every time. And so if somebody says, the money won't be there, I say, why? It's always been there before. Like there's never been a time it hasn't been there. There's always been a perception that it's not there. But when I really need it, it's always been there. Whenever I've needed food, there's been food. Whenever I've needed comfort, there's been a person. What I need comes to me. But that only happens when you believe it.
I love it.
Oh,
Karen says, Tami is so awesome as a teacher, but most importantly, as a human. She has blessed my life in so many ways. I've had in a relationship with her, and she was spot on and taught me so much. Thank you, Tami.
And you took my class, Karen, as well. She took my apprentice class. I love you guys. I love all of you guys.
I love all of you. I'm going to share your link one more time because you do have a special right now that you're offering for people today.
They're half off, and I will tell you, if you have been in my world at all, I don't really run sales very often. I did that because I really, so I've been going through a dark time. I had my cousin's son committed suicide a couple weeks ago. We were all very, very, very close. I have a picture of him in my first apartment in his car seat when he was a baby. Aww. Like we were very, very close. And when I sat here trying to process it, I thought, what can help me get through this time? Because I felt so broken and like life wasn't livable, honestly. And I thought, I just need to do more numerology. And so I put my readings on sale until the end of the month, half off, because I want to fill my calendar, because every time I do numerology, my life makes sense, and no matter what I'm going through, I can make sense of it then, and it feels good to help people. Like it really does help people. Like you really do gain a lot from understanding who you are and why you're here. You're not just stumbling around. This is not just like a pretend little game that you're playing. You're here for a reason. And when you don't know that reason, life is hard, so it helps. It really does help. So, so that's why I think it's good to just practice more.
It's a big opportunity, you guys. If you want to have a taste of this work and see if maybe it would resonate for you as a career, make sure that you get one of these special sales this week. And that's wonderful. Thank you so much for offering that, Tami.
Of course.
I know what it means to throw yourself into work as a distraction. And that's what I do too.
Is that healthy or not healthy?
It is healthy because you're not dwelling. You're not, because if you dwell on things and you hyper focus on something that is a tragedy, it puts you into a downward spiral of vibration. So if you instead transmute that into love and start giving back to the world, it's like my favorite example of this is like the Moms Against Drunk Driving. Yeah. Because they created something out of pure tragedy and heartbreak. Like they were just so devastated over what happened that they transmuted that tragedy into a way of changing the world and making it a better place.
Yeah.
And you can transmute tragedy and lessons into something beautiful all the time.
Do you know what I thought? And this is what I said to a lot of people this week, when we were going to the services and all that. I said, if this teaches you nothing else, a 28-year-old just took his life, and he was not someone you would have thought would do that. He was into music. He was following his music career. He is the brightest light in any room that he ever walked in. Nobody would deny that. He impacted a lot of people. And I said, if you take nothing else from this, live the life that he didn't, because he would want that so badly for every one of us now that he has a new perspective, like now that he is looking at us from the other side, he would say, please live the life that I didn't, because he was 28. He had his whole life ahead of him. And if you just fall down now and give up too, what the fuck? What is the sense of that? Like, what is the sense of that? That's just so wasteful, so just
A lot
get
of
up
souls are
and
leaving right now because Earth is really tumultuous and painful. And when you come, it's really interesting because I asked my guides why it's becoming so common, and they did say that entities are pushing it harder on people. So if you have suicidal ideation, get a clearing, because many people that are feeling that are actually having that pushed on them. It's not internal, it's external. But there's a lot of people that also are very very powerful light beings that come down here, and they finally were able to incarnate here because it's almost like the vibration was high enough. Now they can come in, but then when they come in here, it's so heavy, it's so dark, it's so painful. When you come from pure light and love and then come to a place where it's almost like, in many cases, devoid of love and light, and it is very hard, it's very painful for a lot of people. And that's why so many youngsters, like, people are dying younger and younger, especially to self-harm. And that is why I feel like they're really struggling with the density here. So the more we raise the vibration of the space, the more we heal humanity, more of those bright souls will feel inclined to stay.
Yeah. My daughter said all the good ones leave, and I said that's not true. I said, really, all the good ones came. Like, we're so lucky. Like, we're so lucky that the good ones chose to come and hang out with us for a while, Even if they left early, at least we had them for a while, and we get to know what good feels like, And I don't know. Like, I can't look at it like they're all leaving us. Maybe they're joining our spirit team.
No, there's more coming in every day. There's so many bright lights, more than ever. We've never seen so many bright lights coming in as we have right now. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I fully believe that we have already shifted the paradigm in a way. We're just starting to see the evidence of the shift.
Yes. Well, and all the kids that are being born from 2000 on, like they're being born in the 2000s, they're all coming with a heart-centered focus. So like the 1900s were all about the future focus. We were all trying to figure out what the future was going to be. Well, all the 2000 children, they're all coming with the understanding already. They're programmed already with what we gained already to give them. So they got this like up leveling. So like the 2 is your heart chakra. It's all about your why. It's all about the right things. Like there's been a lot of discussion this week about, transgender and people changing their gender and things like that. And what I want to just kind of scream from the rooftops is that everyone coming into this new generation are coming with the awareness that there is no gender. There is no separation. There is no black and white. There is none of that's real. That was all a human construct.
Everybody's hyper-focused on the physical, and they ignore the metaphysical. They ignore the spirit. And I literally did a clearing on somebody 2 days ago that was trans. And what I found out was that there were no male bodies available. They just weren't. Yeah. And so this is like a very powerful Viking, like raw, and they had to choose a female body. And now they're in the female body and they're like, well, this sucks. I don't feel female at all, And it's like, well, so it's like, let people believe whatever they want. Let them feel however they want.
Because they're acting from their heart, like what you need to do is you need to close your eyes, put your hands on your heart, just sit with that for a few seconds and look at your whole life and say, what would love do? If love was a being and love could say, I look at this with love, what would you change in your life? What would you do different? That is what everyone in the 2000s are coming in with. They are coming in with that focus of what would love do? Just like we used to say, what would Jesus do? It's the same exact thing. What would love do? Love would not hate. Love would not separate. Love would not make all of us, enemies. Like, love wouldn't do that. So like when you look at things that way, that is what we're facing now. That is what we're going through. We are going through a time where we're realizing the truth and we're realizing what actually matters. And what actually matters is people and relationships and understanding and caring, like all of that matters, not all the materialism and the bullshit that we've been doing, for so long,
Mic drop. Yes. I completely agree with you, Tami. You nailed it. And thank you for this discussion today, because I feel this is almost cathartic for a lot of people to hear, because a lot of us have been feeling this way for a long time, and to hear, to recognize that other people also feel the same way is a very powerful thing, because there's a lot of confusion regarding this, especially because politics, they love to divide and separate and create animosity and make everybody fight against each other. And so just love is all you need to be focusing on. Screw all the politics and all the drama and all the other shit, and just focus on loving each other. That is why we're here.
You literally just drop out of all of your perceived problems, and you just literally say, what would love do? And you really do look at it that way. It will solve all your problems, because your problems aren't really what you think they are anyway. They're really just, convoluted. They're like the result of stacking, instead of just simplifying, So, but yeah, not saying I don't have problems. I've got them, but we all do. We're human. Human is hard. Human is hard for everybody. Don't let anyone make you think it isn't. It's hard for everybody. So
yes. I just want to reiterate what Tina is saying right now. Thank you for sharing with us, Tami. I know speaking about your loss is never easy, and you have so much grace. It's lovely. Well said, Tina.
Yeah. It's been a hard time, but I know that it was all for good reason. Everything's for good. I believe that. So
truly.
Anyway,
well, it's been 2 hours. This felt like a normal hour, and we've been talking for 2 hours today. So sorry to keep you extra, but we've loved talking with you today. This is so much fun.
I loved it. It's been great. I didn't realize it was 2 hours either.
Me neither. I was just enjoying my time, and I was like, damn, it's already noon. I got beasties to chase. So
all right. Well, I will.
Tami, I love you so much, and I really enjoyed this conversation so much. So make sure that you guys join Tami on her page, Tami LoPresti, Numerologist, on Fridays, since she does more readings. And also remember, you've got a few more weeks now to book a half-price session. So make sure that you get in there.
You have a few more days.
Sorry, you have a couple more days to book. So make sure that you guys get in there and take advantage of that kindness she's offering right now. It's very generous of you.
Yeah. All right. I love you, Laura. Thank you for
having me.
Thank you,
guys. Day, everybody. We'll see you pulling cards with Lloyd tomorrow. That'll be good fun. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye.